There is no shame, there is no dishonor in fighting the good fight and coming up short. There is a difference between losing and failing. Losing reflects the score, failing reflects our attitude. Trust me when I tell you, there is a giant wing of the Democrat Party right now that is incredibly disappointed with this result. They wanted 4 more years to complain about Donald Trump. They're not going to get it. In fact, what they're going to get is the conservatism that is taking over their party, because that's what Joe Biden represents to them. Nowhere near progressive or liberal enough. They thought for sure this would be the opportunity to waggle their condescending little fingers, and they've lost it. We just need to be smart enough to recognize it. Now, who would you rather be? Who would you rather be? The team that lost to the New England Patriots when they were cheating, knowing that you fought the good fight? Or would you rather be these guys that know none of their wins are righteous? Would you like to be this guy, who was the king of the hill in the 90s and part of the 2000s? Nobody wanted to fight him, and now he's admitting. See, this made it under the radar. Some people allege this is the greatest fighter of all time, and he just came out and admitted to being jacked up on roids. Admitted faking drug tests. Nobody's talking about it, though. Nobody's saying a word. See, there's a song, country music. Not many have heard it. It was Hank Williams Jr. and Johnny Cash. It's called That Old Wheel. That old wheel's going to roll around once more, and when it does, it will even up the score. Don't be weak. As they sow, they will reap. Turn the other cheek and don't give in. And that's biblical. That old wheel will roll around again. Somehow you'll survive. Don't give in. That old wheel will roll around again. And trust me, they are terrified of what's coming 2 years from now and then 4 years from now in the persona of this young woman. They've already started the campaign against her. They have already started it. They had her deposed over some ridiculous hotel reservation years ago where they believe somebody was possibly overcharged for something and it was more than the hotel rates. Of all the things going on in the world right now, why would this be on their radar? Well, I can tell you why. Because they know. They know that they have messed up. Yeah, they took a piece off the chessboard, but they've lost the game. They've lost the game. And in 2 years and in 4 years, it's going to become very apparent, as long as we on the conservative side have the intelligence and the foresight to see it. Walk away, smile, say bless your heart, and understand this is their end. This is the dying whimpers of the Democrat Party. They are not operating under any kind of a mandate. They know they have no answer for this. They have no answer whatsoever for Ivanka Trump. If you heard her speak, you'll know. If you heard her speak 4th of July, last time she was at one of her president's rallies, you'll know. They do not have an answer for this. And when she is inaugurated in 2024, 2025, people will look back and go, how did we miss this opportunity? Why didn't we see this coming? How were we so blind? Why were we so angry? That's what people are going to be asking about their attitude now. Because there's going to be this giant, in 2 years, there's going to be this giant wave of conservatism that sweeps across this nation. We're going to take governors' houses. We're going to take state houses. We're going to flip the House of Representatives. We're going to become even more powerful in the Senate. The courts are already ours. Biden is not a leader. Biden is a finger in the wind guy. And of all of the Democrats possible, he's the most conservative. Blue dog, Democrat. He's already sat down with the extreme wing of his party and told them, zip it. Your agenda is over. It's done. I don't want to hear another word about it because I'm not going to do anything about it constitutionally. It's just not going to happen. Who would you rather be? That's going to be the question. Who would you rather be? All we have to do is return to our roots, states' rights, governance. I promise you this. The state of Florida is not going to change because Joe Biden is president. In fact, if anything, it's going to become more conservative. Still, those who allege that something untoward happened, they never address my question that I have asked numerous times. Florida is the crown jewel of swing states. We by far have more electoral votes than Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin or... Why did Biden lose so badly down here? Why? It's very simple. It's more complicated than just a thumb drive. It's more complicated than a few suitcases full of ballots. You have to have people at the local level that are willing to do these things. And if you don't have that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's a hard thing to accept, I know. It's a hard thing that you have to accept the loss. Funny story, talking about football. When I played, now this is high school football, and I know it means nothing, but it was a good learning experience. We played against a team that we shouldn't have had a close game with when I was young. We were pretty big high school. And we had a real close game, almost lost, and boy, I tell you what, we paid for it the next week in practice. Because our coaches were like, that game shouldn't have been that close. I don't know what you guys were doing wrong, but, we need to fix stuff. Well, guess what? It came out years later that team had a couple of 20-year-olds. It was from a kind of a bad neighborhood, and their coach decided, you know what? He was going to do whatever it took to win, and he snuck a couple of adults onto his team, playing against 16-year-olds. So we still won. That had to be embarrassing for them, but it was close. But who would you rather be? Would you rather be, let's say we'd lost. I still would have rather have been the honest and upright loser that just sucked it up, kept the head up, went over, shook their hands, and motored on. You think I'd ever want to win a fight like this guy wins fights? He admitted it. Right down there at the bottom of the screen. I don't know if you guys can read it. But he admitted it. November of this year. He was juicing. He was on roids. Would you want to be Mike Tyson? A lot of guys for many years would have loved to be this guy. Thought, wow, what a life. He's feared by everybody. He's juicing on roids. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it at the time. They just could never prove it. And this is going to be the most embarrassing moment for them. Ever. Because at one time, she was a registered Democrat. At one time, she was part of the Manhattan elitist socialist crowd. She really was, for years. but she's going to see what happened to her dad. And she's going to parlay that and other techniques into being elected. And they know this. They already know this. Say what you want about these people. They can look down the road. For whatever reason, you can call it shallow or you can call it empty-headed or whatever you want to call it. She's going to win, and she's going to win going away. After 2 years, 4 years of Biden. Because people are going to pine for 2016 to 2020. They're going to remember these 4 years as much better than what they were. And here at the end, when you talk about cheating, sometimes you got to wonder if maybe the man didn't do it to himself. Because there's a God in heaven. And he controls everything. Nothing happens outside of his sight. So I wonder, and this is from June 9, 2016. There are hundreds and hundreds of people out there that have been cheated by the Trump organization. These aren't allegations. These aren't make-believe. There's hundreds of them. This goes way back to before he was ever running for president. Mechanics, contractors, plumbers, hundreds of them, 60 lawsuits, dishwashers, hourly workers. And you know what he said when he was confronted? He never denied it. Never denied it. You know what he said? Let's say that they do a job that's not good, or a job that they didn't finish, or a job that was late. I'll deduct from their contract. Absolutely, that's what the country should be doing. So let me get this straight. If you sign a contract saying you're going to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z thing, and you do it to the very best of your ability, and then somebody reneges on that contract, that's what we should be doing? Let me put it this way. If you go buy a car, and you sign, you put your signature on a piece of paper, and you say, I'm going to pay X amount to you, bank, per month for the next 6 years for that car. And let's say that car doesn't live up to your expectations. Are you going to stop making your car payments? Are you going to deduct from your car payments? Well, if you're Donald Trump, you can do that because you're a billionaire. See, the rest of us, when we put our name on something, we have to live up to it. Because there's a difference between losing and failing. Losing reflects the score. Failing reflects our attitude. Mark my words, this is coming, and they can't stop it. Like, share, subscribe.